So what we try to study is the sort of stuff that is unlikely to change in the future, stuff like paradigms. And of course, if you're academic, you have to give stuff big words. So we study stuff like ontology. Well, how do you define things? What do you think something is? And it sounds like a really stupid question, but you know, we go to companies and they say, we all know what technology is. We go, okay, write it down. What is it? And there are 100 people in the room, we have 100 different definitions. And we study epistemology. That's how do you know? Some people say, we're really, really customer-centric. Really, how do you know? Well, it's you know, like, you know. And we study axiology. That's stuff around what do you like? And the stuff you like is irrelevant for whether it's going to work or not. But it's very relevant when you're an annoying thing called a human. Because you make decisions in a different way. And we study teleology. Teleology, that's what you really want. So even if you know what stuff is, what do you want? And what you want is really different from what is possible. And we study doxastic paradigms. Those are paradigms about stuff that you believe. You know, so my parents, for example, would say, I don't believe in this new technology. Like it's a religion. You know, this is not subject to belief. It's a thing. I have a 7-year-old. Any of you have children? Why? Is a useful question. I mean, one way of testing that is you could sort of, what was the problem I had at the time that decision-making process was supposed to resolve? Because that's a really long-term decision. And then you can decide the extent to which that problem has now, in fact, been resolved and therefore establish the quality of that decision. I have a 7-year-old, and he loves this game we play. He's a 7-year-old, so he likes to play the same game often over and over again, but he's highly impatient. Will you play that game with me? Please, I'm asking nicely. Like he would say to me, would you play? Will you do it with me? It's a knock-knock game. To me, it really explains how short-term some of the new generation can be. Are you willing to play the game? Okay, knock-knock. Impatient kid. Send me a WhatsApp. So short-termism is a really big thing that we study at the Institute because we all want short-term gains. So we study also the way in which people think about the stuff. So we study stuff like strategic thinking, not strategic planning, not strategic implementation, just the thinking. We study systems thinking. That's all the stuff, Martijn, about swarms, networks. So if you're wondering where that stuff is studied, it's studied here at the only university in Africa that studies the future for a formal academic program. We study design thinking. That's immersing yourself in the world of the customer. We study analytical thinking. That's the stuff around filter failures that you've heard about. And we study creative innovation thinking and future thinking. Future thinking is fascinating stuff. So one of the things we do there is we'd say to people, think about this. You get an email, you have a meeting on Wednesday. So someone sends you a mail and says, the meeting's been moved forward by 2 days. What day is the meeting on now? That's the stuff we study. Because we have, I know it's nuts, but we have a relationship with time. And normally about half the group, what would you say? How many of you would say the meeting is now on a Friday? How many of you would say that? Isn't that interesting? It turns out that if you say the meeting's on a Monday, your relationship with time is like the future's coming at you. You're just going, I'm walking all the way through the future. If you think the future's on Friday, you're trying to catch up with the future. This is a thing you're trying to get to. It's not coming to you. So we study long-term stupidity, and I think it's an important thing to study because we've been pretty stupid for a long time. And what we would say is if you are afraid of being replaced by technology and a computer, then stop behaving like a computer and do the stuff which only humans can do. That's about valuing the kind of choices that we make. I've really valued your time. I hope that you have valued me keeping this really short. Now, I've remarked, I think you can predict the future. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.